What's up, and welcome back to another episode of Interview Nugs. I'm your host, ADC, and I'm honored to be joined here today by the talented singer-songwriter, international recording artist, Spring Break. How are you doing today, and are you ready to answer some questions?
I am doing wonderful. It is extremely early here in London, 7:30. I've actually been up for a couple of hours, so I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, I get up very early and I'm always very productive, because I'm not. But it is early here and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to answer questions. Let's do this.
I appreciate your time. Let's go. First question is, what is a superpower that you wish you had?
Oh, good question. Like, people always say, like, oh, I'd like to be invisible, and then you could be sneaky, which is great. I'd like to be able to fly. Yeah, that's okay. It's all right. I don't know. I think I'd like to be able to remember everything that anyone ever tells me. I'd like to be able to collect a piece of information from someone and just like Sherlock Holmes does in the Benedict Cumberbatch British, in the BBC version of Sherlock Holmes. He has a mind palace where he keeps every piece of information he's ever been given. I would like to have that ability where someone tells you, oh yeah, we're going around at 7 and this is the address, and you're like, okay, cool, and I never need to write it down. I don't need to put it in my calendar. I know when it's going to happen, and I know where the address is, and of course, because I know the map, I don't need my sat nav, and I can just enjoy not having to track down any information ever again. Yeah, that would be great, actually. Come to think of it, I'm going to look into that, see if that's possible.
I wish I had that ability as well. Okay, next question is, what is a change you wish to see in the world?
Yeah, this is tricky because I wish everyone was much nicer to each other. I wish everyone didn't try to always think about how to get one up on someone else, or how to kind of beat someone at something. I wish we were just really nice to each other. And of course, competition breeds growth. And of course, people have to be better than others at things. Otherwise, the people who aren't quite as good won't work hard to get good. But I wish we were just a bit nicer about it, and we let each other in traffic. And I wish we kind of would buy each other a coffee just to say, hope you have a good day. And I wish we would I wish people were just were less compelled to be selfish, because I feel like if everyone was nicer, we'd all have a much easier time. There'd be far less anger and stress going on if everyone was much nicer to each other.
Okay, do you see this coming to fruition?
Definitely not, because everyone is trying to get themselves into a position of power, a position of growth and wealth, and the saying of nice guys finish last is kind of accurate. At a certain point, you do have to be selfish and do things that are going to benefit you. So I don't really see it happening, but we can all do it a little bit. You know what I mean? I try, if I can afford it, if I'm going through the Starbucks drive-through or whatever, or McDonald's, I'll if the person behind me is just them, or it's a mother and a kid, I'll try and pay for their meal as well, to do something nice for someone. Or I'll try and compliment a guy on his shoes or his outfit, or when someone's playing music, I'll be like, oh, I really like it. We can all do it a little bit. It's not, I don't think it's gonna, if we all do it a little bit, it's got to have a knock-on effect. But there's always going to be selfishness and competition. So it's a tricky one, I think.
Very tricky. Okay, next question is, where is your favorite place?
So, there's a, I'm in North London right now. I'm down here for a week of work, and then I'm going back up to Manchester at the end of this week. And there is a place on the top of Harrow Hill, where I grew up, where you can kind of see all the way out to Heathrow Airport, and even further on a really clear day, you can see out to Luton, which is miles and miles away. And that's my favorite spot. I wrote lots of my early songs sat up there, and when I was a kind of like brooding teenager. I wrote lots of great lyrics when I was sat up there, and that's what I tell people my favorite spot is. I think aside from that, my other favorite spot is like sat in front of my computer when I'm feeling really creative. Like on a day where I'm like, I just want to write something, that's the only place I want to be, is like sat with my guitar, sat kind of down, no distractions, fresh coffee, ready to go. That's my like favorite place to work and favorite place where I feel creative. But yeah, that place on the top of Harrow Hill, yeah, will always have a special place in my heart. I like running up there. It's like a real struggle to get up, like super steep. But once you get up there, the view's definitely worth it.
Nice. I like that one. Okay, let's get to this next question. What is your go-to meal?
At the moment, I'm eating a lot of noodles. For example, noodles.
Nice.
Noodles. A lot of noodles. I'm a stir fry guy. I'm big on the noodles at the moment. But my go-to meal, to be honest, and I feel like I kind of wish I didn't have to eat. I wish that I never had to eat food again. And I always had the sustenance I needed, because food feels like making food feels like a waste of time. It's like, oh, I wish this was just made and I could just eat it, which is why like places like Deliveroo and Uber Eats and all that stuff are like taking off, because people don't want to do the work. And of course, I enjoy nice food, and I do also sometimes like the process of making it. But I wish that I was just always full and not full, but like always sustained and ready to go. So I'll like, my favorite at the moment is just like a plain tortilla wrap with like a large chunk of peanut butter, fold it up and eat that, and that'll be my food for the whole day. That and a coffee, and I'm good. That's it.
I never heard that before. Do away with the food. We don't need it. Let's just get it out of here.
Like it's just a waste of time. I wish I had all the things I need and I never needed to eat, because then I wouldn't have to decide what to eat. I wouldn't have to feel guilty about eating something bad. I wouldn't have to not enjoy eating something that doesn't taste good. I wouldn't have to try something new. Like, I just want to I want to be sustained and never have to waste time eating again.
I like it. Okay, this next question is kind of deep. When you're feeling sad, what do you do to feel happy, or at the least make yourself not feel sad anymore?
Go for a run. I feel like physical exercise is like an antidote to, well, not an antidote, but I feel like it can massively help when something mental is going on, like some sort of physical exertion, lift something, build something, go for a run, go for a swim, climb a mountain, go for a walk, something physical, takes you out of that space. Your brain can't process sadness or anxiety or any of those things if it is focusing on keeping you alive. So if you're doing something physical that your body goes, flaming heck, this is really hard, then it always helps me get out of a pattern of sadness or something that's kind of really worrying me. Going for a run will always kind of snap me back out of that. I go, it gives you perspective. I could literally drop dead on the spot. So the problem that I'm seeing or the thing that I'm sad about can be resolved or will eventually end, or I'll move on from. And I feel like going and doing something physical always helps.
That's a very good answer. Something I use as well. So, okay, next question is, what is a secret that you wish to share with people that could improve their lives?
I think the understanding, the personal understanding that everyone thinks that they're the main character in their story, which they are, which I completely get. You're the main character. But something that people need to realize is that everyone else thinks that they're the main character in their story as well. So like worry much less about what other people are thinking about, like are thinking about you, because honestly, they're not, they're thinking about themselves. So if you're always worrying about what this person's going to think, or, oh, they must be thinking this about me, forget that, because most of the time they're just thinking about themselves and their situation, because they're the main character in their story. So worry much less about what other people are thinking, because they're not.
Very true. Very true. Okay, next question we're going to jump into is, who or what are some of your influences?
So musically, I would say the 1975, and there's a band from Arkansas called Joan, and I really like, who else am I listening to at the moment? I like Betsy Gold. She was the one who kind of like inspired me into creating music again a couple of years ago. I like Charlie Puth. His brain is just, I don't know how he does all that stuff. Yeah, he's a marvel. John Mayer, like every guy grows up thinking that John Mayer is like a musical god, which he is. His like ability to bend his style is like amazing. So yeah, those are my musical influences. And then like the people around me and the situations I'm in, and I'm trying to like always continually edit and audit who I have around me, because I'm only looking to be around people who are creative, people who are smart, people who are positive thinking. If you're you have the choice to not hang out with or not be around people who don't make you better. And I'm always like influenced by the people around me. So I'm trying to like curate that really specifically to only have people who are going to have a positive effect on me. So yeah, musically and the people around you and the situations you're in, for definite.
That's a very nice answer. You only have one life, so spend it wisely.
That's it. You can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you.
Yes, I've heard that and I like that. Okay, next question is, let me try that again. If you had to be an animal, which animal would you choose to be?
Yeah, so that when you become that animal, you get their abilities, right? So you can become a bird and fly, and you can become a shark and swim underwater and scare surfers. I think though I would go. It's tricky because like I want quite a simple life, and I want to be able to travel a little bit. So I'll go bumblebee, I think, because ability to travel for sure. I mean, you can fly even though you're technically not designed to fly. Did you know that? Like bumblebees shouldn't be able to fly based on their size of their bodies and the size of their wings. Like physics dictates that something that big should not be able to be carried by wings that small. So that's also sick. And they get to visit flowers all day and make honey. And I've just moved to Manchester, and Manchester is their city's emblem is a bee. So if I'm in Manchester and I'm a bee, I'm gonna be having a great time.
I learned something new about bees. That's very nice. I never knew that. That's crazy. All right. So the next question is, what is your earliest memory?
Oh man, I don't know. I remember like multiple family holidays. I remember one specific incident where my dad jumped off a balcony in Portugal and landed in a swimming pool. I remember going surfing on the beach in Barbados on an all-inclusive holiday. I remember a couple of Christmas mornings. But like, I think, to be honest, those early memories have been conflated by like watching old VHSs and like not really knowing whether what I'm seeing in my mind is a memory or me rewatching the video afterwards. So yeah, I think I don't know. That is the correct answer, because I'm not really sure which of them is real and which of them is just me watching the home movie afterwards. So could have been my dad jumping off a balcony, but also that's a great video. I'll see if I can find that actually.
Yeah, use it in an upcoming music video.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the 3.5 minutes of us like trying to like goad my dad on. You can do it, you can do it. And then like as the final chorus drops in, like my dad jumps off the balcony and all the water leaves the pool.
See, you got that creative mind pumping already. All right, this next question is, if you could know the complete and honest truth to one question, what would you ask?
So I have to ask an actual question and get the complete and like full layout of the truth. Okay. Now I want to say like I would like pick the brain of some like musical person and just ask them a really vague and open question so that they have to go on for ages so that I can learn all of their tricks and secrets. Someone like Charlie Puth or John Mayer or the guys from the 1975 and be like, so how do you tell me how you do all this? And then just let them like go to town and learn all their secrets. I think, to be honest, I would ask like someone in my family, or I don't know, I'd like to know actually what goes on in my kids' brains. Like I'd ask my 7-year-old to like explain everything to me, because they're so difficult, these kids. They're so hard to like understand what they're talking about. He's talking about Roblox and all of this madness. I have no idea. Do you know what I mean? I write pop songs and work and have a normal job and go for a long run. I don't know what he's talking about. So I'd like to know like what's actually going on in maybe everyone's brain, actually. Can I ask the same question to multiple people, or is it just one person?
You are asking questions I have not even thought of the answer yet. No.
Okay, so I think if it's that way, I would maybe speak to one of my heroes and be like, tell me about everything. But if it's multiple people, I would ask the same very open question to like all of my favorite people, and then just like have great long conversations where they would give you all the info. That would be like really interesting. Or maybe your enemies. Oh, now we're thinking. Someone who you don't like, or someone who you have like a bit of a disagreement with, get all the juicy gossip on them. Not so that you can use it for your advantage, but just like, let's find out why we have this impasse. Why do we not like
So
each other?
what would be the one question that you would ask to all your enemies or all your heroes? What would be that one question?
I think you'd have to ask something very open. I think I'd maybe say, it has to be an actual question. So you want to ask something open and not closed, so that they don't just answer yes. Oh, but you're getting the full truth, right? You're getting all the answer. I would say, can you tell me? No, you don't say, can you tell me? Because then they're just going to say yes, and then that's going to be it. Which moments in your life have had the biggest impact on you, comma, and what do you think you learned from them? There we go. And then they'll like go through all of the things that they have had an impact and how it affected them. And you'd get like a really deep understanding of how they got to where they're at. And then you can kind of, if you're only allowed to ask one question, you have to make sure it's a very good one, don't you?
Yes. I really enjoy this because you looked at this question from a different aspect. And I like looking at it through the aspect that you put on it and playing in those, like that set of rule set that you put on it. So that was a fun.
Yeah, that's a good question, to be fair. Really good.
I really like how you approach that one. Okay, next question is, how do you deal with anger?
Like for me, it's about like, normally I write a song about it if I'm feeling very annoyed. But those songs will live on a hard drive somewhere and never get released, because they're like I don't really do the angry song. For spring break releases are never going to be very angry. They'll be sad and they'll be happy and they'll be kind of romantic and a little bit angsty in places, but I'm never going to release I don't know, I'll never say never, but I'd be surprised if I released like an angry song. So I'd write a song about it. I would probably go for a run. that, like, I feel like physical exercise always gets you over something like that. Punch something that's not going to hurt you. Or, I mean, don't punch a person or an animal, because that's horrible. But, find a physical angry outlet. Like, I used to play football or soccer where you're from. And you would, like, when you get angry, the first thing you'd want to do is like tackle someone really hard. But that doesn't always end up good, because you're putting yourself in danger. You're putting someone else in danger. So if you can find something constructive and physical, that always, like, gets me out of that angry situation. Yeah, I'd go for a long run and, like, switch off. Don't think about anything. Maybe stick a, like, really boring podcast in your ears, and kind of, like, run it out of your system, or lift it out of your system. That's what my girlfriend would do. She'd go and lift a load of things.
You got a strong woman in your life. That's nice.
I do. Yes, I do. Yeah, she's great.
Okay. Next question, kind of along the same lines. How do you deal with fear?
Yeah, I think, like, another good one. Where do you get these questions from? It's great. How do you deal with fear?
These are the questions, like, I want to ask my heroes and enemies. So
yeah, this is it. Yeah, you're. This is, like, so meta right now. You're asking questions about asking questions. I think for me, when it comes to fear, it's about, like, breaking it down into manageable steps. Like, I get the same thing when I'm out on an adventure or I'm going on a long run, and I will often try and put myself in situations of fear and struggle in order to teach myself a lesson, or, like, humble myself a little bit, but also to give myself an opportunity to overcome fear. So I think breaking it down into smaller steps is what makes it manageable. Like, you're out in the middle of nowhere, you're, like, on top of a mountain, your phone's run out of battery, it's getting dark, you've got no food and you've got no water, and you don't know where you are. You're like, cool, like, what steps do I need to take in order to get myself to a better place than where I am right now? And then take them one by one until eventually you've taken enough small steps that it ends up being a big step. So what can I do in that situation? Right, I can sit down and think about the route I have taken to get here. Could I take that route back? Yes, if I can, then cool, I'll start taking that route. Could I think about where I can get water from while I'm here? Yes, I can find a, like, flowing stream that looks, like, relatively clean. I can drink some water from there. That's great. I've not got my phone, so I can't contact someone, but I can make myself visible. So I'll turn on my torch or whatever so that I can be seen. Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, just smaller steps that eventually make a big impact.
Break it up into smaller pieces. I like that.
That's it.
Okay, the last question of our interview questions. It's kind of more lighthearted. How many holes are in a straw?
So how many holes are in a straw? Because is it one hole that goes through the middle of the straw, or is it a hole at either end? Stumped. I'm going to say one large hole that goes through the... No, but wait, what about a tunnel? Like a tunnel? Does a tunnel have a hole at either end, or is it a large hole? Because a straw is just it's a tunnel for ants. I don't know. How long have we got? I'm going to say one. I'm going to say one large stretched out hole from one end to the other. It's like a really long hula hoop. And a hula hoop just has one hole, doesn't it? So why would it make any difference how long that hula hoop was as to whether there were more than one hole? There's an entrance on either end. Why am I overthinking this? This is what happens in my life. This is what happens in my life. Like, I find it impossible to not overthink this. It's a simple question. Is there one hole or is there two holes? Or if you put another hole in, see, now I'm doing it again. If you put another hole in the side of the straw, does it have a hole at either end and a hole in the middle? I'm going to say one.
Okay, that's a perfectly fine
What you have
answer.
had there is an insight into how my brain works, which is, let me think of 15 other questions that relate to this question and then eventually not answer it properly.
Okay, let me throw a wrench into your mind. I had someone I was interviewing recently said that there are no holes.
Who was this person and how do we kill them? Because their way of thinking is not to be trusted.
Hey, everyone has their own thoughts. I'm not judging anybody.
Why would you do that? Now. Okay, so they said there's no holes in a straw because it's designed to be like that, and a hole is like a small damage to the hole. Maybe what's to the straw. Maybe that's what they're thinking. Oh, that's thrown me. That is.
I didn't mean to do that to you, but I mean,
yeah, you ruined my day.
And it's so early there. And
it's so early as well. The day's gone. I'm going back to bed. Forget this.
Oh man. No, come back. All right. We're almost done. Okay, so these last few questions are just to promote yourself and a little bit to promote the show. What do you have coming up? And do you have anything that you want to promote or plug?
Yes. So you were kind enough to actually review the first ever musical release that Spring Break have, which was called Always in Love. And it was just, it was our first song we ever made. We made it in Manchester with a production team called MXM, who are still we're still working with them a little bit. And then it's been cool to go through this journey and then come back to you. And we just had a song come out called All Night, which was a collaboration between me and a producer from Argentina called Babylon Club. So I found he did a really basic production and posted it on Reddit. And I was scrolling through Reddit and found it and thought, wow, this is amazing. I would really like to turn this into a song. Asked him to send me the samples for it, chopped it up, turned it into this song, and then got a guy I went to high school with to play a saxophone solo on it, because of course you need a saxophone solo. And it just came out. So it came out on the 18th. So we're probably a couple of weeks away from that now, but it's been out for a little bit. We had a really cool time making it, and it was really fun. It was very weird collaborating across the time zones, but it worked really nicely, and we're definitely going to do some more stuff together, me and Babylon Club. So that just came out. It's called All Night, and it's available everywhere now. And we did a nice music video for it as well, which I made, in fact, in this exact room. So yeah, that just came out. And then in the near future, we're going to have an EP coming out on Plum Squad Records, who I just did a feature on a song for as well. So that EP is probably coming out in July, and there are 4 tracks on it. And then there is going to be a B-sides EP also, which is going to include remixes and reversions of those 4 songs, one of which I'm so excited about. Actually, to be honest, all of them I'm very excited about. Yeah, so that's what we've got. We've got an EP coming up soon with a lead single, which features a singer called Sydney Jane from LA. And that's coming out in July. And then there's going to be a remixes or a B-sides EP just after that. So it's going to be a busy next couple of months, basically.
We're very busy. It sounds like that's very exciting to hear. So keep the music coming. This next question is, Interview Nugs is open to anybody. I would like to interview people of all walks of life. Ear Nugs is more towards people with a music career and they have music videos. Who are some people that you would like to see on either one of these shows?
Okay, Interview Nugs, someone who's doing something really cool that you need to get in touch with. Interesting. Yeah, it's weird because I'm collaborating with so many people all the time that I think It's tricky to nail someone down, to be honest. Musically, you should be speaking to, I'd like you to speak to Betsy Gold. I think we can hook that up. Like, she's super smart, and she's taking some time off because I think she's about to have a baby, in fact. She's
Congrats.
Yeah, exactly. Congrats to Betsy and to Gaz. So you should speak to Betsy Gold. You should speak to Johnny Ellis, who actually did a remix for a song for us. And he's going to be on the B-Sides EP. Oh, we're tying everything together. He's a really talented producer. He'd be great. On Interview Nugs, you should have Nash from Munch Club. So he runs a YouTube channel called Munch Club TV, and also does he's a chef, like a really smart chef. And he also does a Formula One podcast, and he's a big Arsenal fan as well. So we've been friends for a little bit. You should definitely get him on to talk about content creation and food. And he's really, really cool. So you should definitely get him on. Betsy, Nash from Munch Club. Who else is doing great stuff at the moment? You should speak to Sydney Jane. She's going to have an album coming out, which I'm writing some songs for, which is going to be cool. You speak to Sydney Jane. Yeah, man. Sid Batham. You should speak to. We'll hook that up for definite. So he'll have new music coming out at some point this year. He was one of my really good friends going through university, and I played in his touring band for a while. And he's going to have some really cool music coming out soon. So we should definitely make that happen. You could get all of those people, man. You could get all of those people. Let's do it. Yeah, man. Anytime I know someone who's doing something cool and creative, I'll send them your way.
Yeah. You have my contact information. Just send it.
For definite. All
right. Well, this is the end of the interview. I've had a great time asking you these questions. Very interesting and unique answers that you gave today. And I just want to thank you for giving the show your time.
Well, thanks very much for having us. Like I said, this is great, man. You're doing a really good job. Thanks for having us on, and make sure you go and stream All Night now because it's out and we need your help.
All right, everybody out there, have a good one. We'll see you next time. Have a good day. Peace.